Hey everybody, I'm Paul.
And I'm Andrew.
And welcome to the Fan Voice. We are here today to talk about E3 and all the good stuff that happens. We're at the tail end of it, and today we're going to be on the subject of Nintendo. And to help us with that is my good friend Kevin Madden. Say hello, Kevin.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, so the live digital event, the digital event was today. And it was,
it was interesting.
Yeah.
I'd say underwhelming was the best way to describe it for me.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really strange that, like, of course they have all their like heavy hitting like first party titles, but they weren't like primary titles, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean they're all of the big franchises, but none of them were like the AAA games, or anything like that. And there were a couple announcements that are cool. And there is one big one, that I think they were just kind of banking on, in a lot of ways. But
you're talking about
I'm talking
Star
about
Fox,
yeah. Well, I think that was to be expected because they didn't hide the fact that Star Fox was going to be their main draw this year,
right?
And it, at least to me, I don't know what you guys thought, but it looked pretty much exactly how I expected. But that's not necessarily a good thing, if that makes any sense.
I think I agree with you. I think me and Paul were talking a little bit about this earlier, but I know what you mean. It looks a little outdated.
Yeah. It just looks very safe. It looks very formulaic.
You mean how like similar it looks to like Star Fox 64?
Yeah, well, when they first showed it, I thought, oh, they're kind of just going for a remake because the first level they showed literally looks identical.
It looks a lot like the original Corneria stage. Yeah.
And from what I've read, I mean, they still haven't been too like upfront about it, but I think they're not calling it a sequel or a remake or a prequel, but like a reimagining.
I think what Miyamoto said was that it's not a sequel or remake. I don't know if he said it's not a prequel.
He did actually.
He did,
and then that's why they named it Star Fox Zero.
It's just its own thing.
Because it's just its own thing.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I don't know if they intend to make that its own series, kind of. Because I mean, Star Fox is kind of just outdated at this point. Like they could completely start fresh, and I don't think anyone would mind.
Right, just completely revamp it. Which I mean, it kind of looks like what they were doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because not only is it just like the same ships, but the whole transformation mode is like integral to the whole thing. So. Yeah, I think that's definitely part of it.
Which wasn't before.
Right.
Even though like the characters are definitely looking like they're in the timeline of what is it, Star Fox 64, because they're all in their old outfits. Peppy's back in a ship, no sign of Crystal, and like all the Andross minions are back, kind of thing.
Right, yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's not like I hated that was there. I actually was like, oh, okay, like it's interesting. It's just, it honestly looked outdated to me. Like the graphics looked outdated to me.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kevin.
It looked like an independent game.
That's actually kind of a really good way to put that. Yeah.
It did. That's just like my immediate reaction. I'm like, it just didn't stand out graphically.
Yeah, and I think that's also a good comparison because it feels like it is like an independent game because they took something and they were a little more creative with it and they did like a transformation sequence and they did it. They made it more like free form sort of thing, kind of like an independent team would do, but also kind of like an independent team. It felt like all of the textures were just kind of there.
Yeah,
like they got it somewhere and just threw it up on a wall. I think the greatest example actually is the grass, which just literally looks like something from 2005 to me.
I was just going to say that.
It was still flat kind of thing.
Well, not only was it just flat, but it was like, here's some green.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the only reason that it sticks out is because of how like the first time I picked up a Wii U game, I was like, wow, like I know Mario, I know this franchise, but this actually looks really good. And like even in their art style, like it looks really good and it's very smooth. And the art's amazing. And in this one, I was just kind of like, wow, that does not look like a Wii U game.
Would you say it has something to do with like from transitioning to Wii to Wii U? There's definitely been a lot of games where they've kind of thrown realisticness out of the window for a really nice, clean, smooth look. But like Star Fox doesn't fit that quite well.
So I know what you're saying, but no, I don't think that's what it is. Because I look at Xenoblade and I go, wow, that also looks amazing. Or I look at literally anything else.
Well, that's kind of like hyper realistic.
No, I would put that in the same vein as Star Fox.
Really?
I would also put Bayonetta in the same vein as Star Fox.
Yeah.
Okay.
And those graphics are amazing.
Yeah.
And Star Fox has green. Like, I was just kind of like, eh?
Yeah.
To me.
They have proven that the Wii U is capable of amazing visuals.
Right. That's what that's my point. Is like they've proven that.
That's what's so depressing to me is like, okay, for example, you know, that we knew in advance Star Fox was coming. So when Smash came out this year, looking at like the Star Fox stage and even the Mario Galaxy stage, I was like, all these like space visuals look like so nice.
They were beautiful
and just like pleasant to look at. I'm like, I'm sure this is how it's going to be in the Wii U Star Fox. And then when they actually showed it today, the space itself just looks so barren. It's just like, I don't know. I was hoping for a little, you know, color and kind of similar to maybe what they had going on in Smash, but I don't know. And the game's nearly finished, right? I mean, it's supposed to come out this year.
This holiday, 2015.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure like how many more like finishing touches they could put to it, but
right. And I don't know. I mean, it's not like it. Like I said, I think the only reason that I think that is because they've proven that you can do that before.
Okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, they've proven like with Xenoblade how good spaceships can look. And how good planets can look. And things like that.
They had a new trailer of that as well.
Yeah.
Didn't they? Yeah, that was a really nice trailer.
Yeah. And I mean, just graphically, it's kind of disappointing. As far as the gameplay side goes, I don't know. So it was kind of open. I don't want to say open world. I really don't want to say open world. It's more like freeform kind of flying, right?
I think what they might be, what it seems like they're trying to do with this is it's kind of like Star Fox Assault, but not as like risky. It's like they're trying to do like half on rails and half like off rails, but instead of running, you're always in a vehicle, but in different vehicles.
Yeah.
I was going to say that a less clunky version of Assault where you don't have to jump out of like a very poor physics engine plane and make your way to a tank and because that game was clunky.
Yeah, the couple transitions from transforming like between the tank and the flying tank and the R-wing and the walking R-wing, they looked pretty like smooth, like you can jump in and out of them pretty quickly, which I liked that.
Yeah, that was definitely the highlight of what they showed today.
Yeah.
And I'm sure everyone was like, well, I got really excited about it too, just like that they had the walker, just because that's a big like wink to like Star Fox 2, which got canceled.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that. I know like very little about Star Fox, the original.
Oh, really?
Or the sequel, yeah.
Yeah. There was supposed to be a sequel to the SNES, but it got canceled, and one of the biggest features was that like the R-wing could turn into a walker kind of thing.
See, I'd never even heard of that. It's interesting.
And with just the gameplay, or I guess gameplay and atmosphere feeling safe and reused, like to me, I don't know. I think it's kind of refreshing for Star Fox because we've seen like nearly a decade or more of them just kind of flying off the handle with the franchise. We think about like Star Fox Adventures, and then like half of Star Fox Assault is just like a lot of like, this kind of isn't Star Fox at all kind of thing.
Yeah.
So maybe they just took those complaints really, really hard. It's like, okay, you want that, have this literally.
Right.
Have Star Fox 64 literally.
Which I do appreciate that. And and like we said before,
it's not like Mario where it's like 10,000 Marios that are like the original side scrolling with no like daring aesthetics or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, aesthetics wise, it's generally the same. But I know what you mean, like gameplay wise, they're changing it up a little bit. Which,
yeah, that's true.
So I like that a lot, and I think they deserve a little bit of credit for that because that part of it looks interesting.
Really random. How do you feel about them going back to more of the vibrating head movements of the like speech boxes?
Oh, okay. So I totally didn't recognize that that's what that was until I watched it again, and I was like, "Oh my god, they're actually doing that!"
Yeah,
and that's really funny.
Yeah, because in Assault they changed it to where it looks more like people talking regular kind of thing.
Yeah. That's really uncanny. I'm glad they went back to the original style.
Oh yeah. I don't know if I have an opinion either way, except for the fact that it tickles my nostalgia a little bit.
Yeah, it's like
you can tell that's what they're going for. Completely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
This one.
Where's that?
So
go for it.
I was gonna add we're still on the topic of gameplay somewhat. My big fear with this game is that Kid Icarus Uprising is gonna end up having been a better Star Fox sequel than this game. I know you haven't played that, Paul.
Yeah.
Have you played it, Andrew?
I have a little bit, but I actually don't own a DS right now, so I haven't played the whole thing.
Well, there's this. I'm sure you've played like the flight segments that are very similar gameplay-wise to Star Fox.
Yeah.
And those I think did it so well, and that's what I was really hoping for. I'm sure it will be similar. Just a lot of enemies on screen, a lot of you're not so sure what would be the best angle. Whereas with what we saw today, it looked like every flight was basically a one-on-one with like a couple exceptions.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm sure they were just showing early levels.
Right, or early concepts of like stages. They'll just like fill it out more. Because that's a really good point. Like besides that one boss sequence, like I specifically recall the tank floating over a canyon, and there was just like one robot, like on a rock kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's like you could definitely tell they spend a lot of time just trying to flash the features of the new vehicles rather than like a difficulty concept.
I'm
Hopefully
sure
they have multiple difficulties.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think that's one of the things I think Kid Icarus did well with that style too, is the like multitude of difficulties there were. But it'd be nice if they had a system similar to that.
Absolutely, yeah. So were there, from the main digital event, was there anything that kind of like popped out at you that you enjoyed?
I know I mentioned to you, Paul, last time I had seen you that I was hoping for a Paper Mario game.
Yes. So what the heck and how do you feel about that?
At first I was kind of just like, but now I'm a little optimistic. I think it's interesting that they're doing like a crossover between what is really their two. Those are the only two Mario RPG series, and they're both different development teams. They play very differently. I know you said you haven't played much of the series. Have either of you played any of the Mario and Luigi games?
None of the Mario and Luigi games, no. But I've definitely played Paper Mario.
Paper Mario. Well, they're definitely different style of RPG, and I think it'll be interesting to. I don't know if they're mixing them, because this trailer it looked more like a Mario and Luigi game than a Paper Mario game, with Paper Mario assets and.
Yeah, I saw some turn-based stuff. Was there platforming stuff as well?
Yeah, well, there's platforming both, and the Mario and Luigi games have always been turn-based. I know that Paper Mario, the last two, have kind of deviated away from that with like mixed, reviews.
Yeah.
But and I personally wasn't really a fan of either of the last two, especially not Sticker Star. Which when I first watched the trailer, it looked a lot like Sticker Star, so I was immediately kind of just like turned off to the entire game. But
How did they deviate from it?
from Sticker Star?
Like Sticker Star to like the originals.
Oh, okay. Well, Sticker Star. So Super Paper Mario deviated completely from the RPG, and that was the Wii title.
That was a
series.
platformer, right?
It was a platformer with like RPG elements, I guess you could say, but mainly just a platformer. And I honestly like that game. I think it's kind of underrated. It was a decent game. But Sticker Star, they brought the RPG system back, but I can't even begin to explain. It's bizarre. I've only played maybe an hour and a half of it because I just couldn't continue playing it.
It's just one of those where it's like, our regular turn-based is too boring for the current generation. We got to add gimmicks to it. Is that?
Yeah, it continued playing turn-based. However, they took out experience points, which is a big part of most RPGs and had been the first
like
two.
Every RPG.
Yeah, which made fights pretty much skippable. They added a system where items were what you used for combat, so you had to kind of collect items, and there'd be like certain items you needed for boss fights, or else they'd be ridiculously difficult, and it was just kind of just a big mess. And it's too bad because they shifted to that style too during development. When they first showed a trailer for it, it was in the style of the old games. After that, I was kind of just tired of the series, but. I'm a little optimistic for this one. I mean, having not played much of the series, were you interested in the trailer at all?
Yeah, no, I definitely was.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have never played Mario and Luigi, but I have played a little bit of Paper Mario. And I just like the fact that it feels like the humor is carried over a little bit, and this could be an interesting kind of mashup. And that's awesome to me because we haven't really seen something like that in a while, and it seems like that's a little more creative.
Yeah, like a dimensional.
Yeah, like having them like it's alternate dimensions of Mario crossing.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever seen that with Nintendo. I mean, discluding like Smash Bros or something like that, where it's not really a story-driven game though.
Right.
So it is funny because people always, go on about like the Mario timeline and the Zelda timeline or whatever, but just kind of, it just feels really natural having like, okay, so there's the Paper Mario universe and now it's like meshing with the Mario and Luigi. Like it just seems like super natural and something that would be interesting. So
yeah.
I was just confused as heck when I saw it. I honestly wasn't sure what was going on with the systems or anything.
Yeah, I was hoping for a Paper Mario Wii U game, but I mean, I am definitely excited of Nintendo's presentation. That was actually probably the thing I was most interested in the entire time.
Okay.
Was that game. So
I would agree with that because I'm looking over some of the other announcements.
Yes.
Not really.
So what is it? Yokai Watch.
Oh.
Do you guys have any feelings for that whatsoever?
No.
Because I only asked that because like it's supposed to be like the original creators of Pokemon, isn't it?
Supposedly. I didn't know where
it was like supposed to be. It's supposed to like gear more towards their original idea because they got their little Japanese like ball toys kind of thing,
right? Yeah.
To like have the monsters, but it's like. None of the creatures look that appealing, honestly.
Yeah, and like, why? How is it different from Pokemon?
They have a really different weird system. I can't remember exactly what. But
I don't know what's going on there.
I don't know. It's like I think it's just a swing and a miss. Honestly, I don't think it'll get anywhere.
Now, when you say the original developers, do you mean like Red and Blue?
I think so.
Really?
That's what I heard. Yeah.
So yeah, I haven't heard much about that game, but I would be interested because it's definitely a creative group.
That's true.
But
there was another thing I wanted to ask you guys about. So they released Skylanders stuff.
Right.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, they're partnering with Activision.
Yeah, and so the thing they showed off was like Donkey Kong and Bowser fighting stuff, and they're obviously going to have their own Nintendo universe kind of thing. And I wanted to ask you guys, do you think it was necessary for them to partner with Skylanders? Because I feel like they could easily stand on their own making their own hub world, like find someone who knows how to do that and just like kind of run with it. I'm not quite sure what the benefit is to attaching Skylanders.
For some reason, Nintendo does not want to make an Amiibo game. For some reason, and I still don't know entirely why, but it might have something to do with the fact that they feel like if they mashed them all together, they would lose some of their first-party titles and the value of some of the titles or something. But they don't want to make a Skylanders game with Nintendo characters. And I don't know why, but that's where they went with it. They said, no, instead we're going to make Amiibos for each game, and certain Amiibos are only going to work for Smash, and certain other ones are going to work for Smash and a Mario game, or like the Toad one is only for Toad Treasure Tracker.
Yeah.
There's random things happening here where since they don't want to do that, this is their choice. And I think since they don't want to make their own, like you said, Nintendo Hub game, they don't want to make an Amiibo game, then this kind of makes sense to me, because then you're piggybacking off of the success of Skylanders, then more kids find out about Amiibo.
Right.
Then they go out and buy Amiibo.
Yeah,
it makes sense to me, right? Yeah. And what kid doesn't love Bowser and Donkey Kong?
It makes sense when you say Nintendo doesn't want to make an Amiibo game, but I don't know why they don't want to make an Amiibo game.
Right.
Because like the thing, Skylanders are super popular, but the Nintendo characters can stand on their own.
Yeah.
In my opinion, you know. Do you have any thoughts on this, Kevin?
You summed it up pretty well. I do think, because Skylanders has to be Nintendo's biggest competitor in that market. What is even the name for that
genre?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know if there's a name for it. It's basically an adventure game, but you have
specifically with the figures. There is a name for it. I'm completely blanking on it, but
video game. I don't know.
But regardless, I'm sure that Skylanders is their biggest competitor, because that was the biggest series, I believe.
It's only that and Disney Infinity, isn't it?
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Disney Infinity, which I'm sure that might be more popular than Skylanders, but Skylanders kind of seemed like the pioneer of this whole model.
That's true. That's the one edge they have over the two others. Like they were the first ones to do it, so it's like freshest and most innovative with them. Do you think the other two have is a massive amount of iconic characters?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I think it makes sense for Nintendo to partner with them. So I'm sure there's a lot they can learn about it. And like you said, I mean, I think it makes more sense for them to not want to make their, a full Amiibo game, whatever that might be, just because I just don't know. That doesn't seem like a very Nintendo thing to do for me. I mean, I think their Amiibos to them are something to complement the game, not replace it, which making a whole dedicated Amiibo game might do. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they do it in the future.
Yeah. I wouldn't be either, but it just seems like at this point, at this point they've made the decision that they're not going to do that. But then again, they also showed off a lot of other things, kind of like what you were saying, Kevin, like a complement to the game. So they showed off in Super Mario Maker, you can make your little Mario character any character, and it's an 8-bit version of Wii Fit Trainer.
That was funny.
That was actually kind of cool, and I was like, okay, so there's some more uses, and they're trying to implement them, but it just seemed like they were like, oh, Smash is out, Amiibo, and then they just flooded the market with Amiibos, and I'm like, is it only for Smash? I guess, but
that's when I think Amiibos are at their best. Is something like what they showed today with the 8-bit characters.
Right.
Where it's something, that you could miss out on and it not be the end of the world. But, if you're younger or a collector or whatever, and you buy the Amiibos and then think, oh, they can also do this in this game. That's something that's so cool. I talked to Paul about this a few days ago.
Yeah.
My problem is with what they're doing with like Splatoon right now, where there's entire single player missions that are locked away without the Amiibos.
Right.
And that's where it gets a little, bad territory, at least for me, and I'm sure other people.
The one benefit to that specifically for Splatoon is that I don't know, take this as you will, but like the massive appeal of that game is online, and they really don't have too much else to it. Like for now, it's pretty empty besides like online. And if they don't touch that too much, like I looked at it, I don't think they have any like exclusive stages locked away. Like
maps, like multiplayer maps or anything.
Yeah, they don't have any like maps locked away or anything like that, which would be a devastating blow. But like, I really hope you're right, and they have the integrity not to like look for get too greedy with the golden goose and just like totally destroy the experience as a player without like spending tons of money, you know?
Right. And I mean the other part of that that's dangerous too is like those are hard to find. Amiibos can be really hard to find.
Yeah.
They're definitely practicing the artificial scarcity kind of angle.
So, like, if you do that, if you make things locked away from an Amiibo, and then you make it impossible to find,
you lose your audience.
Yeah, I think so.
I thoroughly believed that they lost a good chunk of people on the Smash community, the casual Smash community, by not having their adapter accessible.
Yeah,
that was.
People got tired of waiting, and now the hype is over.
That was completely ridiculous.
Yeah, but
there was at that time. I remember they had that problem, and then that was right around when the Majora's Mask Collector's Edition was out for the 3DS.
Yeah,
and that was another nightmare where scalpers bought like every single order as soon as it was available.
Right.
Yeah.
And no one who wanted one could get one. It's too bad. But
yeah, absolutely. I will retract my last statement though about the hype for Smash dying, because I think they're doing a good job of their timing of like new content and everything.
Right. So we should talk a little bit about that, because that was the most exciting thing to happen at Nintendo.
Absolutely.
And it was before E3, basically. This was on Sunday morning. They were just like, oh, hey, by the way, we're going to have a Smash Direct. Everybody was like, interesting. And then as it turned out, Saturday night it was leaked. Well, Saturday morning at like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
It was leaked.
Fun times.
Yeah.
But it was still an amazing announcement.
It really was.
Like freaking Ryu from Street Fighter totally changes up the whole game. Not only brings in, I would say would bring in a new audience, because it also changes up the game of Smash, because once again they did such a great job of having this third-party person be true to his series. They're entering quarter turns in, just for him, kind of thing.
All the Street Fighter motions are in there. The Dragon Punch motions and the Hadoken motions are in there, which is really cool.
Yeah,
and just makes it seem like they put a lot more effort into that.
Right, absolutely.
Which is awesome.
Also, Sakurai, you're so worried about your game being too hard, and then you do this. What are you doing, man? I don't believe in some of the things you say. But I'm so glad he made it this way. Honestly.
Yeah. No, and it's a good idea, because like you said, it brings in a little bit more, brings in other people. And who really would have thought that, Mega Man and Pac-Man and Mario would have been in a game together, and then add Ryu into that.
Yes.
That's
absolutely
awesome.
It surprised me too, because Nintendo doesn't really have Street Fighters on their consoles anymore, do they?
No. They've just gotten kind of chummy with Capcom, I believe.
See, I like that a lot, because I mean, a lot of Capcom's fans have big problems with them right now.
Yeah.
So I've noticed Nintendo is kind of like almost adopting Mega Man a little bit, which I would be completely all right with, and I'm sure a lot of other people would be too.
Yeah.
But sadly, I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
We got Mighty Number 9.
That's true. That's true. It's probably the closest we'll get.
Yeah. So did you end up downloading any of the new stuff, Kevin?
I haven't yet. Just because I'm trying to be a little better with money right now.
Yeah. You want Lucas though, right?
I do want Lucas because Lucas was one of my favorite characters in Brawl.
Yeah.
I love that series too, so I kind of definitely want Lucas. I'll probably wait until I go back to school. I just haven't been playing a lot of Smash, but I'm sure once I'm back and with all my roommates and stuff, they'll all want to be able to play all the new characters. And I know one of my roommates was like, I'm buying Roy immediately because he's obsessed with Fire Emblem, so...
Oh, dude, he's so much better now.
Yeah, he looks like a lot of fun to play.
He's like faster and stronger, has a little bit of a better combo game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just his range is a little bit shorter, and I'm fine with that exchange.
Okay, that's good.
Lucas is very, very similar to Brawl, except the only thing I can think of is his snake is longer. When you fling it out.
I was hoping they wouldn't dramatically change him.
No, he's pretty similar.
It doesn't look like they have, which is cool.
And of course, Ryu is freaking awesome too.
Oh, did you guys hear about Pichu and Young Link most likely being DLC as well?
What? No.
I don't know how accurate this is, but apparently the whoever it was that leaked Ryu and Roy when it happened, they also leaked the trophy models that they showed during the presentation. You know, they made a point of showing an Inkling trophy from Splatoon, and then Ken, who's another Street Fighter character.
Yeah.
But they also found models for Young Link and Pichu, leading you know, to believe that. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised because then they'll have every Melee character, right?
Right.
That's what it seems like they're going for now.
I think they are.
Okay, Mewtwo was definitely ideal, but before any of this, no one would have predicted Dr. Mario or Roy.
Oh yeah,
back.
Yeah.
I remember that was my main reason I didn't believe that leak when that originally happened.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, my logic. There's no way Dr. Mario of all veterans is bizarre.
Yeah. But you know what? I think I'm happy about that for completion's sake, and I think that's a real like compliment to the fans. You know.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
So many memories of the past everything.
Yeah, and I mean, making these DLC characters be the returning characters, or returning people who didn't come back in the original games.
Yeah.
That's a great way to do DLC, and we still get a new character in Ryu,
right?
Which means there's hope for a new character later on too.
Like Pichu and Young Link, if they throw in another Ryu type character, okay, fine.
Right? Yeah, and I think they will. I think it's going to be a matter of returning characters first, and then every now and then there's a new character thrown in.
Seems like it, huh?
And honestly, I think since obviously we don't have the numbers.
Yeah.
But it seems like this DLC is going to be successful.
Yeah.
Because everybody's talking about it.
Dude, the hype pops up so hard every time. It's good DLC.
It is good DLC.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, $5-ish for a character is not bad. Well, it's $4, I guess, for the character.
Yeah.
$2 for a stage. $2 for a stage is a little, but I get what they're doing.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's like I'll pay for that.
And then what is it? Hyrule Castle and the Mario 64 stage from Smash.
Right, which are coming for free later.
Not that you.
Are they free?
No.
Are they not free?
So.
Oh, okay.
Well, they're not out yet.
Oh, okay.
Only Dreamland 64 is out right now.
Okay. Oh, and Dreamland 64 was money. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. So they'll probably be money, but
the Miiverse stage was free.
Yes, that's what it was.
Yes. I think that's because it was supposed to come with the game at launch, but they were having some kind of development problem with it or something.
Okay.
I played on that stage. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, I've seen some funny screenshots of it.
Yeah. You basically get basically subjects about your character. I keep every 2 seconds I was seeing Roy's OP kind of thing.
Funny.
And then
That's a good idea.
When you win on the stage, you can draw a message to like add to the collection kind of thing.
That's kind of cool.
It's a fun little thing. Yeah, absolutely.
But
speaking of Lucas, the This was probably your favorite announcement, huh, Kevin?
It was my favorite. No, it was not my favorite.
Really?
Because I was, as soon as I'm completely blanking on his name right now, and it's too bad because he's a really, really cool guy.
Like Toy?
Yes, yeah, that
Shigeru Toy?
That's right. He's a really cool guy, and he's like a great writer. And as soon as he came up, and he wasn't even. When was that? That was right when they were doing the tournament, right?
That was right before the championship.
That's right. So he just abruptly out of nowhere shows up on the screen. So I'm obviously like, oh my God, like what's happening? And there's been rumors of a collection of the 3 Mother games, which the first and third never came out in the United States. I guess just in the West at all. And there's been rumors about it, kind of just a trilogy of them, either for the Wii U or the 3DS or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I automatically assumed that, and I got like really, really excited for that, specifically for Mother 3. But it ended up just being the ROM of the original Mother, which they've retitled, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like Earthbound 0 or something.
Earthbound Beginnings?
Earthbound Beginnings, that's right. Earthbound 0 is the fan translation, I think, or the ROM that got translated. So I think it's really great that it's going to be in the West for the first time. And it's a really fun game. It's definitely aged not so well. Uh-huh. But, I mean, if you really liked Earthbound, I'd recommend playing Earthbound first for people who haven't before moving on to that, because it is an unforgiving game, like all, NES RPGs.
Yeah.
But do you think it was worse than Earthbound?
Earthbound is a better game.
I mean, just difficulty-wise.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Really?
Well, I don't know, because Earthbound, that is one problem with Earthbound. It has some really bizarre difficulty spikes. Particularly early on, there are segments that are the hardest part of the game. And I'm sure anyone who's played it knows exactly the parts I'm referring to.
I think there were just a lot of spots where you just don't know what to do, or you have to, just ask every single person kind of thing.
That Mother is much worse in that regard.
Oh, okay.
It's recommended to use a guide at least to know where to go A to B. I mean, Earthbound shipped with a guide.
Yeah, I remember that.
So, I mean, I don't know. I don't have much of a problem with that because I do like walking around talking to people. That's kind of like a weird OCD I have with RPGs.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you allow yourself the time, I think that's what Earthbound really excels in. It's just like a really chill atmosphere to just explore and roam the world kind of thing,
Yeah.
If you're not in a hurry to accomplish anything, I think it's great for that.
Yeah.
The Mother's similar. They're almost like it's almost like the transition from the original Star Fox to 64.
Yeah.
Where they're almost the same game.
Mm-hmm.
Just different consoles and different graphics and
Save maybe the ending.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna pick up Earthbound Beginnings.
Yeah, I know you were excited for this, for it to possibly be the collection of the whole thing. But I mean, just Kevin, look how far we've come in the past year or so as far as Earthbound goes.
I know.
Earthbound got released last year, and I think before that we've waited for 20 years for them to acknowledge it in any aspect. Then we get Earthbound.
No, don't take me wrong. I'm very, very grateful that they are finally giving it the recognition it deserves, because it's definitely one of their best series.
Absolutely.
So I just got a little too hyped when he showed up.
Yeah, I feel you.
But I calmed myself down. Got a nice balance. Yeah,
Sounds like me with the Kingdom Hearts trailer.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be playing that.
Yeah. And you know what? As far as I'm concerned, this locks Mother 3 for coming eventually. Not too long.
That's absolutely true as well.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried.
So excited for that.
At some point. At some point, it'll be happening.
It'll be worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, there were some other games that were announced, but we don't really care about a lot of them.
Yeah, I feel like Fire Emblem's important, but I don't know anything about Fire Emblem.
So Fire Emblem is, I mean, the previous, not E3, but the previous Direct, I guess, a new Fire Emblem was announced. It's now called Fire Emblem Fates. We got a new trailer, which is great. But yeah, I don't really know a lot about Fire Emblem.
I don't either.
People are excited.
Well, dang.
My roommate loves them, so
yeah.
That's all I have.
And then there was another trailer for Shinigami Tensei X Fire Emblem.
Right.
And all I gotta say is like, this is so J-pop.
Oh yeah.
This is so
completely,
Japan.
Completely.
Holy moly.
But that's an Atlas game, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah, so
totally.
they know
really
they
does.
know their fan base, and I'm sure they'll be pleased with it.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't know that many titles too quickly, but like looking at like I saw the first Persona 3 movie and that was like hecka dark. And then transitioning to this, it's like, ooh, okay.
Well, I mean,
little bit more sugary.
Persona usually is dark, but you know, Fire Emblem's not as dark. So and also it's Shin Megami Tensei isn't always dark. I think Persona's
the more darker one.
Well, I don't know. That's hard to say, honestly.
Persona 4 was just kind of like a medium between the two.
Yeah.
It was more suave than dark.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
But there were like creepy moments. And stuff.
So anyway, so yeah, I mean that's exciting for a lot of people. So is Xenoblade Chronicles X, which is actually getting a release date.
The trailer looked epic, but that's another one I don't know anything about. But I really want to check it out.
Well, that's one that was like hugely popular and kind of gained cult following over here. Yeah. And that people thought, oh, yeah, that's never. If there's another game, whatever, it's never coming here. And there's full support for it, and it's it's coming to North America December 5th.
And
so
this is a game that really needs to be successful, I would say, because Nintendo needs some good RPG love.
Like they definitely
having it be first party, that'll give them so much power.
Right.
It'll be great.
The Fire Emblem games do well in the West, right?
Yeah, they do.
I guess they have been. It was a little rough for them.
Especially the last one did really well.
Yeah, because I see the last one everywhere. It seems like it's pretty well liked.
And you know what? I'm gonna say I think both of those owe a lot to Smash.
Oh yeah, no question.
I can see it.
No question at all.
But it's great,
Yeah. And then all right, let's just go through some of the other ones here.
I've got a good topic we can talk about.
Oh, sure. Okay.
This is what possibly ruined Nintendo's whole presentation for a lot of people, and me a little bit, was the Metroid spin-off.
I knew that's what you were gonna say.
Oh man.
So the first thing that I saw, I was like, wait, is this Metroid?
Yep.
Oh my god, it's Metroid. Is it Metroid Prime? Oh my god, it's Metroid Prime. What the fuck is this?
Yep, that's pretty much my same train of thought.
Yeah.
There's an immediate turn.
I was looking at it and seeing the graphics, and like before they even like showed it, I'm like, this is the freaking soccer game they showed last night.
Yep. See, that was my big fear last night. I was like, you know what? They're probably making another Metroid Prime Hunters, which was the DS Metroid Prime game. Because it was the exact same interface when they were playing that soccer game.
Right.
Yeah. So that was my thought. I'm like, maybe this is a mini game. And then I was at that point kind of like another handheld. I mean, I used to have no problem with handhelds. I'm not very big into handheld gaming anymore. So I was kind of disappointed in that because I'm really like holding on for a Metroid Prime on the Wii U. But
well, I mean, I don't think it's a question of portable or not. It's like, this is so secondhand,
Oh
it's not a primary title at all, and that's a difference with
it. It also looked like an indie game, like very generic.
It could so easily not be Metroid.
Cookie cutter.
It could literally be anything else.
Oh, it's like they're in kind of the Samus suits.
I thought they were Mii's when I first watched it, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" But it's just that art style,
right? Yeah, that was incredibly disappointing because I was looking. I mean, this was far enough into the digital event that I was thinking, okay, we haven't had really a big announcement. Like we've had 3DS announcements out the wazoo.
Yeah,
and they showed off Star Fox Zero. So, oh my god, is this a new Metroid? Because if so, that would be really cool.
Yeah,
perfect. Yeah,
I mean, it's the perfect time. it's the perfect time to announce it. Say it's coming 2016.
Mm-hmm.
You got all these other games coming this year. Announce one for next year.
And
This
they
is
know,
perfect.
you know, fans have been waiting. A lot of people were really disappointed with Metroid Other M,
Right.
the last entry, just
Yeah.
for a multitude of reasons.
Right.
How did most people feel about Prime 3?
Prime 3, I think, is generally like.
Yeah.
I think the Prime series as a whole, Prime, Echoes, and 3 are generally people like them. I think.
I've only played Prime. I've played a lot of 2D Metroid, but I've only played Prime, and Prime is a fantastic game.
It's really good.
Completely deserving of all the praise.
Really difficult.
Oh no, it's incredibly difficult. I mean, Metroid is very difficult.
That's true.
Now, I don't know. I mean, that was one of the other things too. Is I was like, watching this, I was like, this is so sad that this is what Metroid has come to.
Yeah. And it really cheapens the series. I know we mentioned this earlier with the Amiibo thing. Nintendo has said a lot in the past that, you know, people always ask things like, why don't you make, you know, like Nintendo Kart instead of Mario Kart, where it's Samus and Link and, you know, everyone.
Yeah.
And they've said that they don't want to cheapen each series, the tone of it. Which
they want to keep the tones intact.
Metroid is it's really the darkest Nintendo game, at least in their main series. It's very like themes of isolation, very dark, very similar to like the art from the Alien films.
Yeah,
and
so much inspiration directly taken from that, which you can tell from the very first ones, and I guess kind of Prime too, but it dissolved in the Wii era.
Well, that's the thing is like the original Nintendo games are adult games.
Yeah,
like the 2D Nintendo games. Mother Brain is fucking creepy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And
Super Metroid is creepy.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Like Super Metroid's super creepy. And so and with Prime, they tried to tone that down, but keep elements of that intact.
It's
and
still got the isolation factor, but like it's not like so hard to compete with those amazing like 2D designs.
But like it's very true, but they did a really good job of that, and that's why I think a lot of people really like Metroid Prime, along with it being a very good third-person game. But it's incredibly difficult, but
it's just all out the window now, though, because the new one's about little bobblehead robots, and I don't know.
I don't understand why you did that with that.
They didn't have as much this year. It's like, wait, we got to address all the titles no matter what the heck they are.
Well, right. Yeah. Like, hit every franchise.
Yeah.
Like, no, you actually don't.
No one cares about this.
That's why, you know, I brought that up, that thing they had previously said. You know, I don't remember who the official was who said that, but it's like they've completely forgotten that policy. For example, like now Link is in Mario Kart and the Animal Crossing characters are in Mario Kart, and I'm sure they will make a Nintendo Kart now. Because it's almost like they've got this Disney thing going now where it's just like, oh, these are the Nintendo like bunch, and they're all kind of goofy and cartoony and do their stuff. Which I mean, they're kids' games really when it comes down to it, so you can't fault them completely. But I mean, it definitely cheapens Metroid, and I'd say it cheapens Zelda to an extent too.
And I agree with you, and I think that's the issue is like their whole announcement of we're making Nintendo Land and all this stuff, and then Reggie says, "Oh, you know, this year's E3 theme is transformation," and I'm like, "Well, that's great, but you have two franchises," and I agree with you, Kevin. I think it's the two franchises, it's Metroid and Legend of Zelda, which you're just randomly taking characters and putting into things because they're popular.
I'm not enthused about the 3 people game that much.
No, I mean that doesn't look that great either.
You know what? Okay, they delayed Zelda. But they couldn't have showed a trailer, like the main Zelda they're working on. They couldn't have showed a trailer.
That was just bizarre that they chose to show nothing.
It never came out.
For a game that was supposed to come out this year, they must have something new they can show.
I don't know. That whole thing was a little... I was like, okay, well, we're going to at least get a Legend of Zelda trailer.
Yeah.
Literally nothing.
Yeah.
And instead we get more 3DS games, which Triforce Heroes looks fine. The Legend of Zelda's with the 3D, whatever. Okay, all right. It's a fun game.
It's 3 swords.
It's 3 swords instead of 4. Whatever, right? Like it's a fun little game on the side. But I mean, seriously, like the original Legend of Zelda, like that needs another game.
Yeah,
because I don't know.
And they presented that as if it'd be like, oh wow, like a something of note at E3, but it should have been like the equivalent of showing like a mobile game or something. Just being like, oh, this is something that'll like tide me over until the next Zelda. Now let's see a trailer for that.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
That's what this Metroid, I think, should have been too, had they had, Metroid even said something like, we're working on a new Metroid in the style of the classic series or Prime.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I was talking to Andrew about this. I think they should have really reworked what they were advertising where. Like, I think the main digital event, some of these like lesser titles like the Metroid and Zelda stuff should have been swapped out with the Mother announcement and the Smash announcements. And it would have been a lot more hype.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, I mean, overall, there's a bunch of other stuff on this list. Animal Crossing got stuff. I don't know why.
Yeah, they had
Animal Party.
There was similar problems with that amongst fans.
Yeah.
The Animal Crossing Mario Party. This is
basically
except
with Amiibo.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't understand. that. And
they're gonna make a Nintendo Hub World.
Yeah,
they have all the pieces.
That's the thing, right? Like they've said before, they don't want to do that, and that now we see like this Metroid game, right? Yeah. And all the stuff going into Mario Party, and all the people going into Smash, and all the Amiibos, and the partnership with Skylanders. I'm like, why don't you just make it?
Yeah,
I'm not gonna play it. I'm not the target audience. I don't care. Just make it.
It will be mega popular.
It will be. It has to be. And if it's not, I would be shocked.
Yeah.
Disney Infinity is may not be, or maybe it is at this point. I don't know. But when it first debuted, it wasn't as popular as Skylanders. Do you know that doesn't matter at all? Like they still made a shit ton of money.
Absolutely, because it's freaking Disney.
It's everything Disney.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to happen with Nintendo too. Even if it doesn't usurp Skylanders, I mean, you got to believe that's going to be huge.
Yeah.
Well, the toys alone would sell millions just on the merit that they're Nintendo toys.
Exactly.
Because that's what I was saying. Like when I was a kid, I always wanted Nintendo toys, and they never had them anywhere. They just didn't merchandise like that.
Right.
So if I was a kid growing up today, I wouldn't even care if it did anything with a Wii U or anything. I would just, like a Bowser toy.
Yeah, kids could have the time of their lives without even a video game with those things.
Yeah, really. So like they definitely have the market to do the Hub World.
Absolutely.
I don't know though. The Animal Crossing presentation to me was very sketchy.
Yeah, that was weird.
Mm-hmm.
That was like, ooh, another Animal Crossing? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They're definitely they're trying hard to throw that one into the big group, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And
do you mean the series?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's definitely popular, but I didn't think it was that popular.
Mm-mm.
And I
mean, Villager was announced for Smash, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But then it just keeps going, and it's like a staple now. Every time they talk about anything else.
The thing of it is, I think it's their way of trying to like say it's like, okay, we weren't just a one-trick pony in the 80s. We can still make really iconic characters, and that's why.
That's true.
That's why Olimar got pushed into Smash, and now Villager's gotten pushed into Smash. Like
all the Fire Emblem stuff is coming back and getting pushed into Smash.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's true. It's a really good point.
But Smash is one thing. I mean, Smash has always been around. It's funny because when we started this, like I had honestly a lot of problems with the presentation today. And I was like, I'm going to be a little more restrained like during this. But now it seems like you guys have a lot of similar problems to what I had.
Yeah, I think it's not just us, too. I think it's just pretty much everybody.
Look at
Kevin, never feel restrained when you come on here. This is the fan voices. It's about the truth.
I mean, I get enough crap for being cynical and, normal everyday life. So
well,
have like a good internet presence.
Yada, yada, yada. We're not hunky-dory, blind, everything's great people.
I mean, all right, here's the thing, right? The Smash, whatever Nintendo's, just to try to inject one little positive thing, I guess. Even though this is, to me, a huge disappointment. Mario Tennis, really? Oh, that was the last thing on my list. I just have to mention it. But fucking Mario Tennis, that's your big thing.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, Wii U game. It's Mario Tennis.
It's their most
Literally
popular sports game.
Strikers
covered,
was 10 times more popular when it was out like twice.
More pop. I would say it's better. Is it more popular though?
All right. It sold a lot. It sold more than the Mario Tennis game on GameCube.
Awesome.
Anyway,
I never
Mario
played
Tennis
Strikers.
is really popular. So I kind of get it, but no, there were some positive points to this.
No, and really, Smash was a major positive point. I mean, they came out on Sunday morning and they said, "Here's all this stuff. It's available now."
Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of thing I'm expecting from Nintendo now with their digital strategy, their digital events.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff they do now, and that's what makes me excited about Nintendo. This was highly disappointing. I mean, not only was there nothing like, "Hey, we're making this," we're going to throw you something now, or, it's coming out in a month, or whatever. It was just, here's some 3DS games. They're coming out in 2016. Yeah. Don't worry about it. The Mario Tennis is coming back.
Yeah. It's really interesting. The Smash downloaded content was like the mirrored opposite of this, I feel like. It's like, this is everything the fans want. The things fans miss.
Right.
Kind of thing,
Yeah.
But they just missed the point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really does feel like they missed the point on everything else.
Like, oh, they want a Metroid. Here you go.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, we got the Smash downloads. We got Earthbound Beginnings, and I'm still really excited for Star Fox personally.
I am too. Too.
I'm gonna play it 100%.
Yeah.
No, don't take my cynicalness about the graphics too much. I will absolutely play it.
I think it'll look a lot better in motion too when you're.
I think it will too. Yeah. And I as much as I normally don't like the gamepad and aiming with it. Well, that's not actually true. I've done it before and I don't mind it.
Yeah.
So
it
this
depends
could work.
on the game.
I feel like
that's very true.
I feel like they'll let you turn that off. Because Splatoon has an aiming system with the pad, and they let you turn it off.
Yeah, they usually give you the option. I mean, the only game I've ever really wanted to use the gamepad was Pikmin 3. It did it very well, but I feel like Star Fox will too, from what they today.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I think I trust them. Like, this is the first really big use in kind of a shooter game like this, or in kind of a vehicle game.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah.
I could really like it, or I could want to turn it off if it's an available option. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm definitely gonna try it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm super excited for the tank. For some reason, I like the tank.
I want to play the
I'm that weird kid. I'm that weird kid that's like, can I beat the tank? People are like, what is wrong with you?
The tank's awesome.
The tank is awesome.
Landmaster!
Yeah. I like the chicken walker.
Yeah.
Right?
It's such a weird concept, but it's like, oh, look at that thing go.
But it just works really well. Like, it's super goofy, but it's like, oh, whatever. It's Star Fox.
It's like freaking Transformers, man.
Yeah. It's cool. That is exciting. I'm excited, like you listed, the Earthbound Beginnings, Star Fox. I'm excited for the Mario and Luigi Paper Mario crossover.
Yeah, definitely.
Just because that was the only thing too that was surprising. So it was like, I wasn't expecting that at all. And
right. Yeah. You definitely came out of left field.
It'll be an interesting game.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean, Nintendo still has some interesting things on the horizon, and I'm excited to be playing all of them. And some of them you'll get to play this year, which is actually kind of cool.
Which is very nice compared to other companies.
Compared to other companies.
Square Enix.
Yeah. Compared to other companies, yes. They're doing a little better at that. They have some release dates instead of just saying something is now in development. So, that's good.
This title is announced.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway, so Kevin, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, no problem.
Awesome discussion.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, no problem. I guess you guys should let us know out there in the world on the internet. You should let us know what you think about the Nintendo press conference or digital event, excuse me.
What series tickles your fancy?
Yeah, which series did you like? Which series did you not like?
I'm sorry.
Probably Metroid Prime.
We'll see about that.
Yeah. So let us know. You can find us at facebook.com/thefanvoicepodcast.
youtube.com/thefanvoicepodcast.
Google.com/plus the Fan Voice Podcast.
Twitter at Fan Voice Podcast.
Our email, fan@thefanvoice.com.
And, of course, our website, thefanvoice.com, where you can find news, reviews, articles, and all our discussions to download.
Yeah, so I guess we will see you guys next time. We're going to be talking a little bit more about other E3 stuff this week, so keep tuned to the site and the YouTube page. So we will see you guys next time.
All right, see you later.